pandemic is an unexpected crisis that entrepreneurs all around the world did not see coming. It has severely disrupted the global market, and the Philippines is no exception. An Asian Development Bank study shows over 70% of Philippine micro, small, and medium enterprises or MSMEs had cash flow problems. Majority or 58.8% of MSMEs in the Philippines reported zero income, 28% said revenues fell over 30%, and 12.7% applied for bankruptcy.
An entrepreneur's decision-making is a vital part of any business and the key function of its success. However, the COVID-19 pandemic arrived at an overwhelming and enormous scale, which brought uncertainty to the business environment.
Because of this, entrepreneurs are forced to postpone their decisions to wait for further information. The typical approach of many companies, big and small, will be far too slow to keep up in such drastic change.
Our study aims to determine how the COVID-19 pandemic influenced the business decision-making of future entrepreneurs from STI College Global City, school year 2020-2021.
The study collected a demographic profile of the respondents, which includes their age, sex, grade level, and monthly income of the family. It also includes the influence of COVID-19 pandemic to the decision-making of future entrepreneurs in terms of mode of selling, business classification, and the qualitative part of our study, and the other changes future entrepreneurs would implement on their future business plans considering the COVID-19 pandemic.
We use a mixed method research design, which is the procedure of collecting, analyzing, and mixing both quantitative and qualitative research, and a method in a single study to further to understand a research problem.
In a more specific manner, we use quasi-experimental research design where an independent variable is identified but not manipulated by the researchers, and effects of the independent variable on the dependent variable are measured.
The study's respondent are future entrepreneur or accounting, business, and management student from the STI College Global City. For each sample technique, we use simple random sampling to get the respondents.
It is defined as a sample technique where every item in the population has an even chance and likelihood of being selected in the sample. Using the Sloven's and percentage formula, we come up with a total of 97 respondents, 52 from grade 11, 45 from grade 12. It is 75.75% of the total population of 128 students.
We use a 20-item online questionnaire with a series of closed-ended, open-ended questions as an instrument to gather data to our respondents.
We use a matrix questionnaire, which is a group of multiple-choice questions displayed in a grid of rows and columns. In a more specific manner, the researchers use the Likert scale, a type of matrix question that uses a 5-point scale.
In order to interpret the data from the online questionnaire, we use different statistical tools, namely
weighted mean, to calculate the mean while taking into account the varying degrees of importance of the numbers in our dataset. Frequency, to determine the number of times an event occurs. Sloven's formula, to calculate the sample size in the given population size given the margin of error. Percentage, to determine the percentage of each section to be used as samples. And standard deviation, to measure the dispersion of our dataset relative to its mean.
Now that our study is introduced, let us now move on to our findings and conclusion.
Starting with the demographic profile. For the respondents' age, the table shows that most respondents are aged 15 to 17 years old, with a total of 53 students and a percentage of 54.64. The next are respondents aged 18 to 19 years old, with a total of 38 students and a percentage of 39.18. Respondents aged 20 years old and above has a total of 6 students and a percentage of 6.19. Moving on to the respondent sex, the table shows that 24 students, or 24.74%, are male, and 73 students, or 75.26%, are female. From that information, it can be concluded that most of the study's respondents are female, which is 50.52% more. For the respondents' grade level, grade 11 is composed of 52 students at 53.61%, while grade 12 is composed of 45 students at 46.39%. From that information, it is concluded that most of the respondents are grade 11 students, which are 7.22% more.
Lastly, the respondents' monthly income of the family, 37 students, or 38.14%, have a monthly family income that ranges from 20,000 pesos and below. 33 students, or 34.02%, have a monthly family income that ranges from 20,001 pesos to 30,000 pesos. And 27 students, of 27.84%, have a monthly family income that ranges from 30,001 pesos and above.
Let us now move on to the influence of COVID-19 pandemic to the business decision-making of future entrepreneurs.
Starting with the preference of future entrepreneurs in terms of the mode of selling, the preference of the respondents in terms of personal selling has a general weighted mean of 3.46 and a verbal interpretation of strongly agree. This suggests that future entrepreneurs strongly agree that selling products face-to-face during the COVID-19 pandemic is more preferable. In terms of online selling, which has a general weighted mean of 3.35 and a verbal interpretation of agree, suggests that respondents agree that selling products online during the COVID-19 is preferable.
With a standard deviation of 0.078, the COVID-19 pandemic influenced future entrepreneurs of STI College Global City to prefer personal selling over online selling as a mode of selling their merchandise.
Let us proceed to the influence of new normal, such COVID-19 pandemic, to the business decision-making of future entrepreneurs. Let us know and understand if the future entrepreneurs decided to take up a merchandising, a manufacturing, or a service business in the future.
First, the decision-making of future entrepreneurs in terms of service business has a general weighted mean of 3.24 and verbal interpretation of prepared. This suggests that future entrepreneurs prefer finishing a task or work for a customer and managing a group or professional team. Second, in terms of merchandising business, with the general weighted mean of 3.20 and the verbal interpretation of prepared, suggests that future entrepreneurs prepare to buy a product for a wholesale price and resell it with profit. Lastly, in terms of manufacturing business, with the general weighted mean of 3.25 and the verbal interpretation of prepared, suggests that future entrepreneurs prepare the used components, parts, or raw materials to make finished good that they can sell to a consumer.
With a standard deviation of 0.037, therefore we conclude that future entrepreneurs are most likely to conduct a merchandising business in the future.
Lastly, we have the qualitative part of the online questionnaire, which is about what other changes future entrepreneurs would implement on their business plans. The qualitative data is divided into 6 categories.
The first category is the changes in decision making. 13 students, or 13.40% of the population, stated that they would implement changes related to their personal decision making as a future entrepreneur. The second category is the changes in business, marketing, operation and management, and contingency plans and strategies, which is stated by 20 students, or 20.62% of the population. The third category is the changes in business operations, which is stated by 17 students, or 17.53% of the population. The fourth category is the changes in the future entrepreneurs' products and/or services, together with its advertising and promotion, which is stated by 18 students, or 18.56% of the population. The fifth category is the changes on the organization's mode of selling, which is stated by 22 students or 22.68% of the population. The sixth and final category are the other changes that are not part of the category stated above, which include improving their customer service to maintain customer loyalty, maintaining good business reputation, maximizing profit, and having a positive social impact on the world. It is stated by 7 students or 7.22% of the population.
With a standard deviation of 4.95, it is concluded that the COVID-19 pandemic influences future entrepreneurs to change their organization's mode of selling.
Given all the findings of the study, we therefore conclude that the COVID-19 pandemic indeed has an impact on the business decision-making of future entrepreneurs from STI College Global City.
We are now living in the new normal, and no matter what COVID-19 brings, it will not stop us, entrepreneurs, from bringing all our ideas to life.